Hello, and welcome to Wake Up Wednesdays with the Women's Business Center of North Carolina. I am your host, Roberta McCullough, and you are tuned into 72.9 The Voice, which is a digital station hosted and owned by Lakeisha Melvin. We thank you so much for joining our podcast today. We have a lot of things to talk about, and I'm happy to say that we have, by popular demand, we have extended our podcast from the half an hour show that it has been in the past to now an hour. So we got more time to spend with you. And we got a lot of information to talk about. We have a lot of things to share with you. So you all stay with us. Again, you are listening to Wake Up Wednesdays with the Women's Business Center of North Carolina. So let's kind of update, and we're going to talk about what everybody else is talking about right now. And of course, it's all things COVID related. Unfortunately, our country, for the first time in a really long time, is experiencing an horrific pandemic. And so I hope that all of you all that are listening are healthy and safe and sound. And if anyone is within the listening sound of my voice is not well due to COVID, I pray a speedy recovery for you and or for your family member if it's not you. So since everyone's spending a lot of time teleworking, I hope that we are hearing that much more from you during these times. With the Women's Business Center, we are one of the resource partners of the SBA and have been for over 30 years. Just so you know, there are over 100 and nearly 120 women's business centers in the country. There are 4 in this particular state outside of ours, which is located in Durham, but we cover 52 counties. There's one in Charlotte that is our sister organization. There's one in western part of the state in Asheville, and of course, the other in Fayetteville. All 4 of us, we know each other, we work together, we do all kind of things together. But I want to talk to you all today, and it's not just me. I have a couple of guests that I'm going to introduce in just a moment. But I want to talk to you all about just what's going on in the world of small business lending, in the world of technical assistance, which is what the Women's Business Centers offer. And some of them are lenders across the state and the country. But for the sake of the SBA, in terms of what they are offering to assist small businesses in this particular pandemic, is they have created 2 products, which at this point, everybody knows what they are. It's the PPP loan, which is the Paycheck Protection Loan. And then there's a loan that has been coined the EIDL loan, which is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. Now, one is obvious, that is the Paycheck Protection Loan, and it's built to design to protect the payroll of those companies that are experiencing a shutdown or a greatly reduced revenue stream due to the pandemic and due to shelter-in-place orders. So that particular product has been out there for a couple of months now. And just so you know, there's still money out there and there are still lenders offering the Paycheck Protection Loan across the state and this country. The best way to find out who that is to go to the SBA's site, and they can direct you to wherever you may be, where the closest lender to you is. And we know that in the past, there were some issues around the larger lenders not lending to those that were not in their loan portfolio and all that. All of that's been taken care of. Now there are lenders out there that will give money to whoever qualifies and whoever needs it. Now, in terms of qualification, we're not going to get into the weeds on that because it can vary slightly from one lender to another. But just go to the SBA's website. They have a list of all the lenders in North Carolina that are doing the Paycheck Protection Loan. So if you have any questions about what to do, where to go, just call us at the Women's Business Center. We're on all social media platforms. You can go to our website, which I'll give all the information later on in the show. But you can just reach out to us, and we have a Facebook page as well, and just let us know you have some questions. But again, I'll give you all the contact info later on. The other product is the EIDL loan, the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. That particular one in the past has been open to all sorts of business formations. Right now, they are lending to the agriculture-related businesses. And we want them to do that because they, they being the agricultural businesses, are feeding us, always have and always will. So if you think there's a field out there that's growing canned goods, that is not the case. You better have a farmer in your pocket. You better know somebody who's growing food naturally. They are the ones that feed us. And again, they always have and they always will. So we definitely want to make sure that they are getting the funding that they need to keep their farms going. So, as part of this grant, the stimulus package, the CARES Act um, bill that was approved, the women's business centers, amongst other technical assistance providers, were part of that package, which means that every women's business center across the country, if they chose to, received equal allotments of money. We won't talk dollars, just know that we were fortunate to receive some additional funding to increase our offerings to help small businesses and their employees. And so we have various areas that we are adding to our already existing services in terms of webinars. So, of course, right now we're still virtual, we're still working remotely. So our offerings are through webinars. We did them before. We can certainly do them now. But we have key areas that we are offering to you. And I think that you will find this year-long webinar series very, very interesting and very, very useful to your business. So with that, we have been able to secure 5, really 7 different contractors in different areas to assist us in their areas of expertise to to bring these services to you and to offer things that we think your businesses and your employees may need. And so I happen to have 2 of those businesses on this show with me today, and I am incredibly excited. And I want to introduce both of them to you all. And we're going to just kind of, I'll let each of them talk. And then we're going to go into some Q&As, and we're just going to kind of talk about what it is that they do within their company, and then what they're going to be doing for the Women's Business Center. So I have with me Dion McGee of DG McGee Enterprises and Angela Burrows of Ethos Excel Incorporated. So I am incredibly excited to have both of you all. So if you all will say hello. So Dion.
Hello.
Yeah, how are you doing today?
Hello
I'm
there.
great. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. And Angela Burrows, say
Thanks
hello
for
to the
having
audience.
Hello, audience. Thanks for having us.
Yes.
So this is going to be just a fun time. So I'll give a little background. I've known Dion a little bit longer than I've known Angela. So I'm going to give each of them the floor, and so they can talk about their particular company, number one, and then again we'll go into what you all will be doing for the Women's Business Center later. So Dion, who happens to be on the advisory board of the Women's Business Center, is now, Dion, I'll let you talk about yourself because you can talk about yourself better than I.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we turn over to you, and you just kind
Okay.
of tell us all about DG McGee Enterprises.
Well, first, I want to say thank you for the opportunity. I truly appreciate it. I just simply want to share that from a background standpoint, DG McGee Enterprises is a speaking business 100%. And with all that has gone on in the midst of COVID-19, since we're going to tap into that, we have scaled more into the coaching at this point. And the coaching also includes those that are in leadership capacity. So the business itself is tailored to women that are in the corporate space. How do they get a seat at the table? And from there, where we are right now is women that are in that space and saying, hey, I feel like I need to have an additional stream of income. And with that, I need to really have this business. I need to have an additional stream. How do I start a business? So it has gone from speaking more from the stage to coaching and developing women from a leadership standpoint. So from the stage to a Zoom meeting, if you will, a lot of my clients. So this is how, we are now communicating, via Zoom and things of that nature. But it has been amazing pivot, if you will. So I'm super excited about that. And then that has turned into the actual course that I have created to help women get to their next level, which I call the Road to Success. So.
Awesome. That is awesome. I have been seeing you on all social media platforms. Let me tell you all, this woman is busy.
Yeah, a little busy, just a little bit.
She is very busy, and that is awesome. And
Thank you.
her prior life, I'll say, before DG McGee, we'll get into that
Okay.
in just a little while as well. Led her to this point, and also placed in my spirit to just ask her, would she be interested in doing this? And because I wasn't concerned about her qualifications, but I just realized after talking that it was just a blessing that we went down that road, and that we had the conversation around it, and that we are here now. So it is excellent. So with Angela, we have a little bit of time before we're going to take a little station break. So tell us about Ethos Excel.
Certainly. Thank you. And thank you for allowing me to be here. And it's a pleasure to be sharing this podcast with both you and Dion. I'm North Carolina born and bred. I'm not born, but we moved here when I was about 3 years old. I was raised in Raleigh, went to an HBCU, and my career led me to a variety of health related and management and training jobs. And in doing so, I noticed more and more that there was a lack of diversity within research and training of investigators or physicians, and that there was a need for right representation and more equity when it comes to healthcare and knowledge disparities in underserved communities. And so I started Ethos Excel about 7 years ago with the goal to work with companies to conduct research and training projects to reduce healthcare knowledge disparities in underserved populations. We are first community engaged because we believe that the right voices can communicate trusted information, and as such, we perform a variety of diversity consulting services, helping organizations and being a bridge to engage, recruit, retain diverse populations, and making sure that communities of color have a place at the table. I share that passion with you, Dion, and I've often heard that if we don't have a seat at the table, then we might very well be on the menu. And so one of my goals is making sure that we have a seat at the table and the right voices at the table. And I know you said we had a little bit of time, so I'll stop there.
Thank you for that, Angela. And those are just powerful introductions, and I just am so excited, even more so, just to know that we will be working together over the next year, and just educating people on your areas of expertise, and just educating me as well, because I never want to stop learning. So I'm always interested in learning by and from the people whose space I share. So we're going to stop there. We're going to take a station break, and we're going to be right back. So you all stay tuned, because we're getting ready to get into some real nitty gritty. So y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Are you looking to take the stress away from planning a wedding or an event? Call BPM Event Planning Company, where we specialize in the bride, the place, and the memory. For weddings, it is all about the bride. For any event, you need the perfect venue. And of course, every occasion creates lasting memories. Contact BPM Event Planning Company at 919-213-9068, or you can find us on the web.
Belle V Lash and Wax Studio is where affordable, quality, safe lash extensions meet your budget. We offer lashes, full body waxing, back facials, and vajacials, serving the Triad and Piedmont areas. We are licensed and insured. Schedule your appointment at 919-446-1980 or Instagram and Facebook at Belle V Studio 77. That's BELLEVIE Studio 77.
Are you pregnant in the Triangle? Birth and Beyond Incorporated is a full-service doula agency offering birth and postpartum doula support, placenta encapsulation, childbirth education, and belly binding. Our website is birthandbeyonddoulas.com. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Birth and Beyond Doulas. Our mission is to help families seamlessly transition into parenthood. Are you looking for this kind of support? Feel free to reach out at 919-239-1613.
Well, welcome back, everyone. For those that are just now joining us, you are listening to Wake Up Wednesdays with the Women's Business Center of North Carolina. I am your host today and always. My name is Roberta McCullough, and I serve as a director of the center. And for those of you that are just joining, we have with us two dynamic women that I am just very pleased and humbled to have on the show with us. And they were sharing before the break what their prospective businesses are. And we're going to talk more about that. And then we're going to go into how you all are going to help us to roll out what it is I'm about to talk about. So I mentioned before the break that the Women's Business Centers are part of the CARES Act and helping the SBA as a resource partner of the SBA to help the small businesses in our prospective areas and their employees to regain their footing, if you will, with their businesses as we all try and come through and out of this COVID pandemic. We are not out of it yet. And for most places, we have just started the reopening phase of certain storefronts and, everything, the churches and everything, they're starting to phase into reopening. And so we know that there are thousands upon thousands of businesses that were affected, and some may not open. There's a projection out there that 1 in 4 businesses will not open back up. So that's 25%. It could be 25% of the small businesses. I mean, that is staggering to me, and it's very concerning. But so we all have to pull our resources together and provide the assistance that we can to these businesses. So with the CARES Act and the funding that we received, we have, the SBA really has identified certain areas that they see long-term to assist businesses in operating in this new space that we are still trying to figure out. So part of that space, of course, is the teleworking space that we are all in, the vast majority of us, outside of the essential workers. And first of all, before I go any further, shout out to the essential workers that didn't have the luxury of working from home. My husband being one, as a commercial cleaning company, there was no stopping. As a matter of fact, he got busier. So he goes out this door every day, putting himself at risk, along with the healthcare workers and the grocery store workers and so forth and so on. We know who you are, and we thank you all for keeping our lives going, quite frankly.
Definitely.
So part of what we are offering is for those that are teleworking and those who are running businesses from home and that have customers all over the place and now trying to maintain that customer service relationship from a remote place. That's one of the areas that we are focusing on. And so that's where Dion comes in, because Dion has had years of experience in this, even before teleworking and remote customer service was even a terminology. She was already doing it. So Dion, talk about kind of where you came from before you started working on your own, and then why that made you absolutely qualified for what you'll be doing with the Women's Business Center.
Right, great question. So my background is 20 plus years in the corporate space. So I tell people that I am a retired corporate exec. 10 of those years in the executive suite. So to Angela's comment, as far as working and not having a full-fledged level of diversity, I found myself in a non-diverse and inclusive place in that 10 years in the executive suite. So with that, I'm leading teams before that telework was really a thing, back in the day, if you will. So leadership within itself is hard. It is a lonely walk, and it's different if you're leading a team that you cannot actually see. right?
Mm-hmm.
So from a sales marketing standpoint, that was the umbrella in which I fell. So our clients were some local, some across the world. But how do you lead a team to manage those types of sales when you're talking multi-million-dollar accounts? How do you go to communicate with your teams and make sure that we don't drop the ball, that, you know, deals are still being won, there is still profitability that is happening, right? So with that, what does the leadership really look like? How do you communicate? How do you not burn yourself out, as we talked about? How do you not burn yourself out, get the job done? So there's some project management, if you will, that comes into play with that as well. And I think that's key for our small business owners. Like, this is a transition, a time for us to pivot, and we're learning at the same time in the midst of the transition. So it's a tall order, and I feel like it's necessary in order for the businesses to continue to grow and to continue to have that profit that they're used to seeing.
Yes, absolutely. So, and thank you for that. So tell us what you will offer in this webinar series, that you will be offering the Women's Business Center and to the clients, for that matter.
Right. So the series itself is about management. How are we managing virtual teams? And that charge, we're talking standard operating procedures. If you don't have process and procedures in place to lead a team, we're going to have a little difficulty, but we can get there, right? Yes. And you want to make sure that the teams themselves, you have the right people on the team, because everyone is not fit to work remote. Some people physically have to be in a building. They need to see people. They don't have the focus that they need to get the job done. You know, sometimes it might take 12 hours for someone to get something done, a task completed that would take another person, 8 hours. They can get it done in an 8-hour workday, but we have to make sure that we know our team. We know what assignments we're giving to the team members, because it's not going to fit. It's not going to fit. It's not going to work for everyone, but you want to be successful. And from a leadership standpoint, we have to delegate. And it's going to be some training involved too, because there are a lot of times where, you used to could walk into an office and talk to someone on your team and say, hey, and show them physically, can you complete X, Y, and Z? Right. So now it is explaining it. There's an art of communication at this point to explain it to them. and you can't see them. They can't see you. And so now, we go into this virtual space where you have the webinars, the Zoom meetings, the WebExes to put documents on the screen and go line by line. So that makes your day a little bit longer, because you got to train and trust. Train and trust that it's going to be done the way it needs to be done. That's a whole nother conversation.
I like that, the train and trust. We're going to
train and trust.
We have to coin that one. Oh, my goodness. That's awesome. Thank you, Dion. So,
yes, thank you.
Angela,
yes, ma'am.
So I didn't know, and I'll tell the audience, I didn't know that your company existed. And thank God for knowing people, because I reached out to one of my colleagues in the field and said, hey, I need someone. Do you know anybody, any company, woman-owned company, because yes, I was specific about that, that can do this particular task for us? And talking about the risk and mitigation of communicable diseases and COVID-related issues. And when she sent you, I was like, oh my goodness, I have to talk to this woman. And so I know you shared with us about Ethos Excel, but talk about what that will look like in terms of webinar offerings, and just what the audience can expect for those that are going to register, what I believe that will register for your webinar series.
Right. I appreciate that. And I'm excited to know you too. Hopefully the Ethos Excel name will become more and more known as time goes on. We've done a lot of work with within the healthcare industry, pharmaceutical related research, because as I mentioned, too often there's a disparity, and for good reason. We as people of color often are reticent or are hesitant to engage in research or anything we think about health, because we've been mistreated. Let's just call it what it is. We have not always been dealt the right hand or been treated when it comes to research. If you think about the Tuskegee experiments, Henrietta Lacks, which was when the Black woman Henrietta Lacks was, her cervical cells were taken without her permission and used and studied and replicated. And the good thing is that it's helped millions of people because of her cells and the research that's been done on her cells, many medical transformations have occurred with regard to the polio vaccine, Parkinson's disease, on and on and on. But the thing that was not right was she was not asked. And so part of what Ethos does is make sure that we have representation and fair representation, and that people of color understand that there's such a thing as an informed consent process. And that is basically, if you give your okay to be a part of something, that you know exactly what you're getting into and know the importance of that thing. And so that's a lot of what we've been doing, a lot of education when it comes to healthcare disparities and research. And with this COVID-19, we have to develop a vaccine. That's what, we know, we hear it over and over. But how does that happen? People have to be tested. Just like any drug that's been ever sold either over the counter like aspirin or prescribed like Percocet, it's gone through a clinical research process. And part of what we see on our end with Ethos Excel is that often when it comes to people of color taking medication, like, when we think about diabetes, who gets diabetes? Black folks, Latinos, right? Native Americans. Hypertension. When it comes to a drug for hypertension or high blood pressure or an insulin medication, I know many people out there have known someone who the doctors have given this drug to and that didn't work. So they had to try something else and that didn't work. Well, often we have to try different things because when it comes to the clinical trials process, people of color aren't often included in the way we need to be included. So when it comes to being to the point where we have to take a medication, we don't know whether it works in us or not. So that's part of where Ethos Excel comes in, making sure that the playing ground is fair and that we're protected as people, that we know our rights, and that we know the information that we have the information we need to have. And that's where the training comes in. So when I spoke with Roberta and she mentioned the need to have someone to do a series of webinars on the hazards and prevention of COVID-19 and other communicable diseases, we jumped at that because it gives us and me an opportunity to further our goal to educate and empower small businesses to navigate these hazards. Because let's be fair, it's a hazard to us, and we know that that with people of color, we're more likely to get it. We're more likely to die from it. So how do we protect ourselves? And more importantly, how do we as business owners of color protect our staff and ourselves as we going out? Because if we protect our staff and ourselves, then we protect our communities around us. Like I'm sure your husband, Roberta, he goes out and does his work, but you're at risk as well. But because he's employing the proper safety mechanisms, then you're protected as well. So that's part of what we'll be talking about. Excellent. And in doing so, there are myths out there where we'll be talking about, overviewing the basics of what is COVID-19, what are the symptoms, what is the current information that we know, because as we know, information changes sometimes by the day.
That's right. That's right. So we're going to take a pause right there because we got to come back to that. That is a lot, and it is very, very important. So y'all stay tuned. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be right back in just a moment.
This is Tanisha Langley, CEO and founder of Enrichment Strategist Services, LLC, a North Carolina Hub certified education consulting and empowerment coach business. As a veteran educator with effective empowerment skills, I transform environments through positivity coaching to create thriving communities of growth. To enrich your environments and lives through knowledge, call 252-558-3262.
Are you worried about your communication skills at work? Business Speech Improvement offers online coaching in public speaking, American English pronunciation improvement, and communication skills for leaders. What could better communication skills do for you and your career? Visit us on Facebook and at businessspeechimprovement.com.
Hi, my name is Dr. Fatima Larry, and I'm the president of FBL Clin Writers. Are you looking for experienced medical writers? Are you looking for writers to support your new drug application team? Well, we are here to service pharmaceutical and biotechnology companies in pursuit of speeding your application to agencies as quickly as possible by providing expert medical writing services. Contact us at www.fblclinwriters.com. Thank you.
Hello and welcome back. For those that have been listening to us, we are Wake Up Wednesdays with the Women's Business Center in Durham, North Carolina. Forgive me, I'm just so tongue-tied because I just want to get everything in. So for those that are just signing in, again, we are Wake Up Wednesdays with the Women's Business Center of North Carolina. We're on 72.9. As you know that if you're tuning in, then you know the station that you're on. But I just always like to give them a shout out because she is just awesome. Lakeisha is just awesome. So I always like to give her shout outs on my show. So when we left off before the break, Angela, you were sharing with us just all those things that come along that we don't think about, but we're seeing right now with this COVID-19 virus and with this pandemic and how it has been affecting people of color at a higher level than our Caucasian counterparts. So continue with what you were saying, because what you were talking about is just so informative and educational and needed. So tell us more about what you were talking about.
Right. What I was saying was that, unfortunately, people of color, when it comes to COVID-19, what we're hearing is that, and what we know is that Black people or African Americans are getting disease at a higher rate than anybody in the country. And when we get it, we're more likely to die. Mm-hmm. And what we're hearing in the news is that it's because we have these underlying factors. We're more likely to be obese. We have some of the comorbidities or other illnesses like hypertension or diabetes, and those things are true. But what also is in the mix that not everyone is talking about is that the same healthcare disparities or the health inequities that have existed along the way, where people of color might be subject to what's called unconscious bias, where medical healthcare practitioners, they already have a bias that they might not even be aware of when it comes to Black people or people of color. And so that impacts their level or quality of care that people get. The research has been done that if you have a white woman and a Black woman who both present or both go to the doctor with the same symptoms of pain, the person who is not Black will be offered pain medicines before the person who is a black woman.
Wow.
And so those things are also in the mix, and you can imagine it's even more of an issue when we don't have anyone advocating for us.
Yeah.
You go to the doctor with COVID-19, you're not going to have anybody in your room with you asking the questions that maybe might need to be asked. And so that's not all we'll talk about. So those are things that are of interest and of concern and important to make sure that we have information about. And that's part of what Ethos Excel does, is make sure that people have the right information, accurate information from a trusted stakeholder, that's us, that they can then make decisions about, whether it's decisions about protecting yourselves, protecting your employees, or decisions about maybe just because they say we can go to church. Church is important. I love my church. I'm a born-again Christian. But we also believe that just because they say we can doesn't mean that we necessarily should at the time. Yes. And when is the right time to make those decisions? So part of what we'll be doing with the webinars is sharing educational sessions, offering people the opportunity to ask questions. We'll first make sure that people have an overview of COVID-19 or the coronavirus. What is it? What are the symptoms? How is it spreading? What are the current things we know about testing? What are some of the myths about COVID-19? And what are the facts? Because we all have heard, we might all have heard, but I'll share some of the myths. Did it really come out of a lab? Because when HIV came in the early 90s, one of the things that Black people were told was it was something that was designed to kill Black people off.
My
you know?
goodness.
So what are
Yeah.
the myths? What are the facts? What are some universal and specific precautions that small businesses and their employees should take to protect themselves? What are some of the hazards of COVID-19 that are specific to the workplace?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Ooh.
aspects based on various industries because, if you are working in the restaurant industry, you're going to face different or more specific or unique hazards that need to be addressed than, say, if you work in a nursing home.
Yes.
Or if you go into an office building at the end of the day and clean offices, and how can you, what are things you need to think about? What are some
Mm-hmm.
specific considerations of minority serving businesses? And then current research, each month we'll, because things are ever changing, we'll share the current research, we'll share guidance updates, we'll share recommendations, we'll share trends. Just trying to make sure people have all the information that they need to know to
Yeah.
protect themselves and their businesses and to make decisions for themselves and in their staff.
Well, I tell you what, I just appreciate you and just what you're going to bring not only to our client base, but just to our staff as well and to my team. And because, we can never be informed enough, because as you stated, things do change and they change very rapidly in this environment that we're living in right now.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I can appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
So Dion, so in regards to, of course, with the teleworking and the customer service management, which is something that's, as you stated earlier, people are we can't assume that everyone makes that transition smoothly and successfully. And that, in terms of our clients, for us, customer service for us is making sure that our clients are getting the same service that they would get as if they walked into our office door. So, so what, without giving away the whole kitchen, they say, as they say, what is one or two thought processes that you can give people to ponder on for those that are having to pivot their businesses from the storefront to a remote place in terms of managing a customer service? But again, we know that they need to tune into the webinars to get the nitty gritty. But what are some things that you see and have seen in the past?
One of the things that I have seen and I constantly see is what was actually, from a product standpoint, what was actually ordered and what was actually received, right?
Mm-hmm.
Communication is key. No one should know that you're not in the four walls of the company versus working remotely from your home. Right.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to business, I should not call you and I hear kids in the background.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Right. Dogs barking and all this kind of, we want to keep it as professional as we possibly can. Now, granted, sometimes, things happen, but we want to keep that same mantra, that same mindset from a professional standpoint. This is what we're offering. And when it comes to leadership from a place of telework, we just can't work all over the place. We have to set up a actual office. So that is more mindset than it is anything else. So the first thing is we have all been forced into this transition. So the first thing to do is to make sure that we have a safe space that we're going to call our office. And this is what everybody respects as the office, as if I am physically away from home at work 8 to 5. If you got to put a note on the door, put a note on the door, because, some of us as moms are still in this whole virtual learning
Praise the
aspect
Lord
of life
for grown
is real.
children.
And so at this point, we've been forced into a lot of things right now, right? So my son's last day of school was last Friday. I don't know who was happier. I'm pivoting real quick. I don't know who was happier, whether he was
because that was forced. Ooh.
Yeah. So this is a learning experience for all of us. But when we're working remotely, even me, I get dressed as if I am actually going into the office, because that is mindset for me. When I am getting ready to have a business call, I get dressed because it's more mindset. If you have a suit on or slacks or what have you, have on business attire, you will pay more attention. You'll show up different, opposed to you getting on that call with pajamas on and a blazer at the top. Okay.
Yes.
You won't slouch in the chair because you're too casual and too comfortable,
Right.
because you are, right? But if you show up, I have done speaking engagements, Roberta, with heels on in the comfort of my home, and you would have thought that I was actually ready to get on stage somewhere. And this is what I found, because I present as if I am physically on a stage and I give it 100%. If I am doing it in my yoga pants, I'm too comfortable, and I'm not going to deliver the way I need to deliver. Right?
That's right. Yeah.
So all of that, it might be a trick of the mind. You call it whatever you want to call it, but it works.
Yeah, I believe that. I totally believe that.
It works.
Yes. Yes. So that is the basis and part of the beginning, if you will, of that telework and the customer service delivery. You have to be the part that you want to see,
That's it. That's it. I want you to talk to me as if you're in the four walls. When I call you, welcome to the North Carolina Business Center. This is Roberta. How can I help you? So when I call you now, I should be able to get that same level of professionalism, communication, happiness. I can feel your joy through the phone. Hi, this is Roberta. Welcome to the Women's Business Center. No,
right?
Because that's your yoga pants voice. That's what you have on the yoga.
That's right. That's my. I'm just doing this because I have to.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. So it's a transition, and trust me, I have heard some horror stories, and I'm sure we've all in this telework space been on some Zoom meetings where you're sitting like, if this person does not mute, I am going to scream.
Right. Right. So we're gonna get to the meat and potatoes, if you will. There will be some humor in it, because I'm sure people have done hundreds, if not thousands, of Zooms at this point. So you have to keep the attention span of the attendees. But we're gonna talk some real stuff when it comes to business, because we want people to be able to sustain and to grow. Even in the midst of a crisis. So this is not the end all be all from a business standpoint. Now it is learning, how do we pivot in the midst of not being in the four walls of our office? How do we still grow with the team that we have? And then some small businesses, as you said, we're talking 25% that may not even reopen. We're talking numbers as high as 30 million plus that have filed for unemployment, that have had to release some of their team members. So we're fighting a good fight now. Yeah, we're laughing and not making light of the situation. However, these are the things, the nuggets, the tools, the strategies that business owners are going to need in order to stay in the game.
That's right.
And to grow while in the midst of the game.
That's absolutely right. And so
absolutely,
there's a lot for all of us to learn.
Yes.
And I said it before, and I'll say it again. I am never in a position where I have stopped learning. So I hope that no one else is. So ladies and gentlemen, these two women that we have on the phone right now, I hope that you are listening to them, and I hope that you sign up for their webinars, because as you can see, they are not playing about what they know, and they are willing to share it. That's the beauty of it, because some people have knowledge and they keep it for themselves, but you all are actually willing to share your knowledge. Yes. So we're gonna. So I'm just appreciative that you all are here, and that we're gonna have this wonderful relationship going forward. So we're gonna take a pause though, and we're gonna come right back in just a little bit. You all stay tuned, because we're gonna finish this out, but we want to make sure you get everything that you need. So we'll talk to you in just a moment.
Hi, my name is LaTanya Lodge, and I'm the CEO and founder of The Trust Life. The Trust Life is an all-natural hair and body care line that specializes in using ingredients you can read and trust. We cater to all hair types, especially those with natural textures, wavy, and curly hair. Call us today to receive a free consultation by a licensed cosmetologist at 888-311-2479.
Are you ready to get a grip on your nonprofit? Hi, my name is Wilmina Gripper, owner of WEG Consulting and Training, and I'm launching a new nonprofit accelerator training program called Getting Past Startup. GPS is a 4-week hands-on live training that provides you with a combination of accountability, one-to-one feedback, and step-by-step coaching to get you the exact blueprints you need to grow your nonprofit online and boost your impact. Apply today by going to bit.ly/nonprofitGPS.
Oak City Bail Bonds is Raleigh's premier woman-owned bail bonding company. We're centrally located across from Wake County Detention Center at 319 Chapin Oak Road, Suite 114A in Raleigh, North Carolina, 27603. The best way to reach us is by telephone at 919-239-1613. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Oak City Bail Bonds. Sometimes bad things happen to good people. Your freedom is our business, and our word is our bond.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Wake Up Wednesdays with the Women's Business Center of North Carolina. You should know by now that I am Roberta McCullough, your host for this particular podcast. And we just thank you all for tuning in with us today and sitting through and hearing from our guests who are phenomenal women. They are part of, I mentioned earlier, Dion McGee and Angela Burrows and their respective companies, DG McGee Enterprises and Ethos Excel Incorporated. They are part of a webinar series that the Women's Business Center is offering in terms of the COVID epidemic or pandemic, I should say. And these are services that are geared and catered towards small businesses and their employees in various areas. So I hope that you all have been tuning in because they have been really already given knowledge. And this particular webinar series that we're going to be offering is a year long. It started this month in May, and we'll be running webinars with them and other contractors that we have through April of next year and potentially beyond. So this is just a host of information to help you get your business back up off the ground and then to keep it going. So, and even if you're starting business, this is going to help you as well. So we've been talking about their prospective areas, and that is the risk and hazards of communicable diseases such as COVID-19 and others, and then also teleworking and how to maintain your customer service through that transition. None of us were asked, hey, would you consider teleworking for a little while? We didn't get asked that question. We were thrown into it, and here we are, right? And so some of us weren't ready. And, because what that meant with the teleworking is not just, okay, yay, I get to work from home, but it was also, hey, I got to operate some technology that I have not had to do before. And I got to make sure that my customers, that my clientele is comfortable with this transition and that there's no flow in my business. And so that is a lot, and Dion, I am just looking forward to what you're going to share because I know that you have an absolute expertise in that. And I'm just looking forward to you sharing your expertise. And Angela,
I'm excited.
Well, I am glad. And so Angela, and what you have shared, wow, this is what we are looking at every day on the news, and some of us don't understand it. And some parts of it we find a little bit insulting, quite frankly, and sobering as it affects our communities. And when I say our, I mean communities of color, as it pertains to why are we so much more affected, in the communities of color. And so you talked earlier about why that is, and it's unfortunately systemic problems that can't be fixed overnight, but that we have to be aware of. And so I want you all to just kind of, let me just share this before I have you all speak. So in terms of, I mentioned that this is a year-long series, and so Dion's first webinar, and you all have to go to our website and register, and our website is institutenc.org. And you can go to the Women's Business Center site and register for a class. The first webinar is going to be on May the 28th at 12 o'clock. And so you want to tune into that and all others, and they'll be on the fourth Thursday of every month going forward. You all just have to stay tuned to our calendar, and we're on all social media platforms. And make sure that we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Eventbrite. So there's no way you can say, well, I didn't know where to find it, because no matter where you look, it's there. So you want to make sure that you stay abreast. And we send out, if you're not on our email distribution list as of now, please just call us at 919-956-2334. That's 919-956-2334. And get on our email distribution list, because we send out all of our courses on a regular basis so that you can get registered. And so, Dion, is there anything else you want to tell anybody what to expect? Or, typically our webinars are going to be an hour long, give or take. If we need to take longer, we'll take longer. But generally, we look for an hour. And so, Dion, is there anything you want to say before we kind of move on? And then, Angela, I'll ask you the same thing.
I am, as I stated, looking forward to the opportunity. I hope this has caused you to think. So come to the webinar. Make sure you register, as Roberta said, but come with questions, because everyone's situation in the midst of this crisis is not the same exact situation. We're looking at it out of our view and out of our lens, and what may be an issue for one business may not be an issue for another business. So bring your questions, because that will open up the doors and conversation for others that may not have dealt with a particular issue, or things that they may not have even thought about, that we need to actually tap into in the midst of this telework place that we're in right now. As we said, it has been thrust upon all of us, and we have to embrace it. So how do you embrace it? How do you take on the technology? How do you communicate with your teams effectively, still get the job done? How do you still scale your business and find that profit and growth for 2021? Because we won't be in this place forever. We will grow.
That's right.
We will go beyond COVID. And what does that look like after it's all over and done? So I look forward to the opportunity, looking forward to your registration and seeing you guys in the webinar. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. And so, Angela, so Angela's first webinar will be on June the 9th at noon, and it will be on the second Tuesday thereafter. Now, there may be some changes along the way, but that's how we're going to roll this thing out. And so, Angela, what will you say to our listening audience before we start this year-long relationship together?
I also echo what Dion has said. I might register for yours, Dion, as well, one of your sessions.
Awesome, likewise.
Because I'm working from home as well. But I just wanted to encourage people, even though this is this can be a scary time with a lot of information that we still, even our Centers for Disease Control, even our top scientists are trying to still figure stuff out. But in the midst of stuff, we do have information. We do have information that we can rely upon in terms of what we know are the highest, the best ways to keep us safe. And so I encourage us to keep our heads up, even though we know there are racial and ethnic disparities. All is not lost. We are people. We are peoples who have overcome many challenges heretofore, and we will overcome this as well. But I think it takes a community, and it takes us all working together to do the right thing. And so we're excited about sharing information, but also definitely bring your questions. Is there a way to submit questions before each webinar?
Ooh, that's a great thought. So yes, we can arrange that. We certainly can. Thank you for that suggestion.
That's a good question. Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. So yes, we can do that. Yeah. Thank you, Angela.
Yeah, and there might be some. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just going to say there might be some questions that arise that we have to come back and do research on. But even as you participate in one session, if you have questions before the session, that's great. I think it would be ideal. But even after the session, if you could submit questions, then we could incorporate them into the next session. So
yes.
Our goal and our commitment is to make sure that we have the best reliable information from reliable sources and to convey it in a way that people understand how it impacts them in their daily lives and your industries to the extent that we can, because we can't, and everyone is different and unique, but we hope to be able to share information that any industry can use and that is relevant to staff for the ultimate goal to keep us safe and to keep us healthy. And as you say, Dion, to be able to flex as times change, because this is a new normal.
It
and our new
is.
normal is going to be our normal. And what does that mean, and what will that look like? I don't think we know. So this time, 6 months from now, things will be different. So we'll be sharing what is the current guidance, in 6 months, God willing.
Yes.
So I'm excited to share as we have information, and I hope everyone makes the best decisions to keep yours and your loved ones as safe as possible. I have an 85-year-old mother, so I'm thinking about, and I live with teenagers. So I'm thinking about people younger than me, people old in my age group, the 20-something age group. I'm kidding, but also
I was like, all right now. I was like, you know.
Okay, I'm good. I did talk about AIDS in the 90s, right? But no, I mean, I'm thinking about people who I love and people who I don't even know I might be impacted in a positive manner by the safety measures that I put into place.
Yes.
So I encourage us to think about those things. Thank you for the opportunity to share. Nice meeting you, Dion.
Likewise.
Absolutely. So how can they reach you, Angela? And then how can they reach you, Dion? I mean, on the social media platforms or digital media, or what's the best?
So our Twitter feed is at ethosexcel, and that's at ETHOSEXCEL.com. My email address is aburrows@ethosexcel, and our Facebook page is ethosexcel as well.
Awesome. And Dion?
Awesome. Email address is dion@dgmcgee.com. Social media is at dgmcgeemotivates. That is pretty much everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere that you could find me. That's where my team has me. So I'm easy to find. And I'm open to the questions. And as Angela said, we're at a point now where we all need to collaborate and come together and make an impact. And sometimes we may feel like it's education overload, but it's to the point that it's necessary. Yes. That's where we are right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, this has been just fabulous. And again, I am so excited about just launching this and just getting the information in the hands of those that want and or need it. So thank you, Dion. Thank you, Angela, for taking the time to join us on this webinar today, on this podcast, I should say, today. And I'm just truly humbled that you have taken time out of your busy schedules to support the mission of the Women's Business Center. So you have been listening to Wake Up Wednesdays with the Women's Business Center of North Carolina. We are just about to sign off. And don't forget to check out the SBA's website as our partners in this whole venture. They have a dynamic webinar coming out tomorrow, Wednesday. Today, I should say, 5/20. That's today, right? At 6:00 in the evening. And this is a webinar or I think they're actually streaming with Ashley Bell, who is the U.S. director, the regional director of the SBA, and the rapper T.I. They're going to be talking to 100,000 entrepreneurs. And so it's a streaming opportunity, 6:00 this evening. So you all check it out because it's going to be well worth it. And I'm going to tune in because I'm just incredibly curious about just what the conversation will be like. So just go to SBA's website and look it up and register. But we are signing off. Thank you again from the Women's Business Center. And thank you for tuning in to Wake Up Wednesdays. And we will see you next time.
They know where to find me. Yeah, we global. Highway going 90. Always mobile. Moving wisely. No beginner. Feeling like a winner at the Women's Business Center. They know where to find me. Yeah, we global. Highway going 90. Always mobile. Moving wisely. No beginner. Feeling like a winner at the Women's Business Center.